at this map. Anybody in Siege competition's got to be comfortable in this. So, Buck? What? Parker, did you see that?
Yes.
Buck banned out by Penta. Bit of an oddity. I mean, it makes sense considering how well G2 has used Buck in the past. Just still curious.
I mean, how many times have we seen Buck banned? I feel like it's a tiny number.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I mean, I can't offhand, I can't think of his ban rate. It's tiny.
Yeah, that is definitely something to catch us off guard with. Start things up. We'll see if it's going to hurt the attack of G2, though. Maestro and Echo, the defenders to go. That's not at all a surprise. Those are probably the two most commonly banned defensive operators these days. Now, we saw Ying taken out by G2, something they don't want to deal with, and they have been banning consistently throughout this series. As we go to the final map, it will be the final ban on the attacking side for them. Church Arsenal Room, the first defense for Penta, the bottom floor. And Habana still in play means that there will likely be quite a lot of open drop downs on this attack. The versatility of the option, or the versatility of having two hard structures on the attack is very powerful, especially on this map.
Yeah, I mean, how many times we've seen an early pick onto a hard breacher completely derail an attack? It's just, it's immeasurable. So, very similar to Bank, where a lot of teams will bring both a Hibana as well as a Thermite. Clubhouse is the same way. Typically, with your Hibana, you're gonna dispatch her to use her XKaros, some of the drop downs, then your Thermite is likely gonna get Dirt Tunnel, possibly Church Wall. It's typically where you're gonna see them positioned. There have been a couple teams that have actually been running Thermite down an oil pit through blue, and I don't think that that's the best use of that hard breacher by any stretch of the imagination, so.
Penta slow going on the basement defense. So they're going to be going for a roam, though, at the same time, which is not something that you're used to seeing. Defending downstairs, the reason being, of course, it is so easy for the attackers to isolate those roamers and take them out. Cantor Raketti looking for the fight onto enemy, but he's not going to find it early on. Giannis from the front door doing the very same, and he will find the fight and the kill. Early advantage to G2.
It's kind of loose play from a Vigil there on this map, especially given the fact that, you know, Clubhouse used to be the map where you almost never roamed on when you were defending the basement. Obviously that has changed, given the fact that the upstairs portion of this map connects. Usually you'd see that roam go on the second floor.
Yeah, a little bit weird to see it there on the middle floor, but
yeah.
I mean, exposed is the word I would use to describe it, and I'm sure enemy won't make that mistake again.
It's similar to what we saw out of, I think it was Redeemer on Space Station yesterday.
It was.
Pulse, very loose and just getting picked off repeatedly. It's not a smart way to do it. I mean, Vigil especially is an operator who is so good at, you know, negating your entry through drones, because you usually have to try and find him through other means. It can eat up a lot of time to waste essentially an operator that early. They didn't really eat up any time at all.
Speaking of time being eaten up, G2 have to go through a lot of steps to establish their attack onto this bomb site. That's pretty standard for it. The slow going one, Mira still in play, means that you have that Mira window facing into blue, but also the one facing towards the church hallway. Very powerful Mira to have, and will deny any thermite charge on that wall.
From above, this disruption, using these impacts in a way that Buck would usually be employed. And I'd expect to see actually quite a bit of Zofia now with no Buck, possibly even a Sledge coming in. You know how powerful he can be when looking at the kitchen. It's going to be an issue for G2 as Now Fabian creeping down blue from Oil Pit. He's just situated at the stairs, waiting to see what the Jaeger's going to do. Kander Raketti will find his second kill. Jonas falls, and oh, Fabian, you check the left, but Sir Boss is to the right, and the Jaeger didn't have much to do to take out the Capitao. Only 20 seconds to go, 3v3, and ADS will grab one of those concussive blasts from Zofia. She still has 3 of them left, keep that in mind. Changes have not gotten into effect from Wind Bastion. Sir Boss in a great position to just wait, but panics on a flank here. They might not be expecting this mirror, but he's gonna get caught out on stairs, back totally to the Hibana. Oh, Pengu, how do you miss so many shots? Both Panics and Pengu likely being just as surprised as one another. Round 1 is gonna go to the defense there for Penta.
I mean, that last engagement was pretty shocking, I gotta be honest, but overall, strategically, Penta played that very well. And the fact that they were able to lock out the G2 attack is not a huge surprise to me, apart from, of course, the early kill on Penta had everything locked up. And G2, a little disjointed, all over the place, really, and didn't seem to have a clear focus or plan on where they wanted to attack that bomb site. Gym Bedroom, the secondary for Penta. Kind of an odd secondary. Usually you see Cash in this situation, but not so here. Not gonna be bringing a Maverick, instead we'll be bringing a Thatcher on G2's side. A bit more old school, but it definitely works just as well. Does leave you exposed to potential bandit tricking. Could be very powerful.
It's interesting to see the evolution that Clubhouse has gone under since it came back this last season, or last year, this year rather.
10 seconds to go.
So for a while there, CCTV seemed undefendable at the start. That swapped to the defense winning it almost every single time, and now there's been a lot of teams going back to the basement as their default site instead of starting at CCTV cache, and Gym and Bedroom have actually seen a bit of a higher pick rate, and Bar and Stock on that main floor really have done nothing. There's been no movement on the needle there. It's been fun to watch, but with Gym and Master, you're likely going to stay exactly where Enemy and Revan are. Cache is where you need to hold for as long as humanly possible. Some teams will fall off and defend it from construction, which allows you to still essentially hold that site as you basically stop the advance of the attackers through it without actually having to be in it. It really depends on the setup that you have.
Cover your ears!
Right now, from just the way that we see Penta playing this, they look to be anticipating a push over towards the Gym side of things. One round of XK will get bandit tricked here, but Pengu will be able to open up the other side of that jacuzzi wall as Kander Raketti, the Zofia, over by the Gym walls, gets blown to pieces by a C4.
Good early advantage for Penta, and they have a decent amount of control. While that jacuzzi wall is open, it's just barely open, and there's a mirror window facing straight at it. No twitch in play for G2, so it's not going to be easy to open up that mirror window. And, as construction control is still well in hand for Penta, it's going to be even more difficult to get a flank on the bathroom. Fabian will get a double kill, though, onto Ravon and Panics, just pushing into the cache stairs. Great job there. Pengu also follows it up with his own frag onto Hungry. So G2 have rallied here in this round, despite losing the first player, and are now decisively in the lead. C4 will take down Pengu, though. Well placed from Enemy, and the flashbang not so much from Pengu on Hibana.
Blind himself, and he couldn't even see that he would get blown to pieces from that nitro. So it's a good kill from Penta. I was actually going to compliment G2 on how swift this had been, but I mean, losing Pengu is tough, and you can tell now that G2 will have to adjust. So you don't really know where Enemy is. Obviously, after they got the intel that he was inside of B, he's going to move, and we can see they can't. He's playing under the mirror window over by Office. Sir Boss using his very first smoke, 40 seconds to go. Choke off the one window. Goga finds Enemy finally, and Sir Boss might have an advancement coming from behind his back. He's staring at a part of the map where right now you might actually be rewarded with a kill, but oh, he just misses. The SMG bobbles over top of the head. It's a good position from G2 as they send 2 bodies after him. Sir Boss can't hit either.
Good job to G2 there, recovering from the early loss of their players. Good collapse onto the cash room is a really big part of it. A heavy investment in the roam from Penta, and it was swiftly dealt with from G2. Able to drone out their targets and execute them one after another. From there, it was a pretty easy take into the site with all the control that G2 had been able to establish. CCTV, cash, next defense for Penta, which makes a lot of sense to me. I'm surprised, honestly, that this wasn't their second site. It usually is for most teams.
G2 almost completely avoided construction and cash there
Attackers
on that
need to
push, and
locate
just
and
decided to
defuse
put
as
it
many
in towards the
bombs as
gym
they
side of things, and then also over by Jacuzzi Wall. Only really took control of construction very late in the round, from what we could tell, at least, after losing both Pengu and Kanto. They had the hatch over office as well. They can try to control some of that. So look at the way this is going to play out here. Used to be that the garage was going to be the most important part of your defense. Maestro and Echo are both banned, which means that holding garage is going to be a little bit trickier. A lot of teams will use a Jaeger and position somebody on the
10
catwalk,
seconds left before
possibly
insertion.
even a mute, deny information that's needed, and of course
5
the ADSs
seconds
would
left.
just stop you from getting naded or flashed. But if you look at Penta, the fact that they don't have a
Attackers'
Jaeger,
objective is to
I
locate
don't
a
know
bomb.
how much Penta's going to do here on this garage. They might actually completely avoid the garage, especially given that they have what appears to be a rotate hole in the soft wall just by the bomb to the server stack. So, but Hungry's inside a garage right now, and they could actually anchor it down with a Legion, which isn't something we see all the time with Valkyrie camera, so they will have a presence in there, even if it's not in terms of an actual
Located by
person.
attackers.
He's something to keep an eye on as the round unfolds.
Two just looking to start their push into the site. I mean, obviously this is a really shallow bomb site. What's gonna happen is you're gonna thermite your way into that server wall. If not, establishing control over garage first. You honestly don't need to, but bandit tricking is something that Sir Boss is excellent at, as it seems. The Thatcher coming off to try and disrupt that. Sir Boss eating a lot of damage from the asphyxiating bolts. That's continuing to juggle here. Devon will finally finish off Jonas, who he had downed earlier with the C4, and Sir Boss has eaten some damage, but honestly a whole body and potential EMPs lost for G2. That's crippling, especially considering Sir Boss still has 2 batteries in play and can continue to juggle this wall. In fact, he doesn't even need to juggle. Whether he knows it or not, it's not necessary. But it will not be allowed anymore as Pengu goes in to open the wall as Maverick. So great job there to Pengu. I'm honestly surprised he didn't do this earlier.
Yeah, 90 seconds in, this is usually one of the first things that gets done so that you can gain control of CCTV without actually having to enter it, right? Because a lot of times teams will just fall off knowing that usually the attackers will dedicate one person to just watching those open holes and see if somebody tries to pressure you. But freely opening all the utility off of it will be allowing the exothermic charge to go off. And Hungry taking out Fabian way far back, and that is the Capitao, who is probably one of the most important towards this execution here for G2. That could completely thwart the strategy that they had in their mind.
G2 not feeling very good right now in this position. They don't have control of garage. They don't even have control of the wall. They've breached into server, and they're continuing to lose members as Hungry takes down his second and Cancer Raketti. Pengu gonna take up the role of pushing into garage, but he's probably gonna be felled. Yes, indeed, there it is. Hungry gets another one, and it's all up to Goga, who dies to enemy as he attempts to push the site. Penta up 2-1, and a pretty definitive hold.
Interested to see, or I'd be interested to hear rather, what exactly happened in that garage take. Kanto trying to engage, not really knowing exactly where the Legion was. Instead of swapping out an ACOG to give yourself an advantage, a lot of teams will dispatch an ACOG specifically to garage because you can usually see through the tiny little cracks between those metal panels that are up top on that catwalk. But instead, when you do finally send another member in, which was Pengu, he's not looking the right way. I don't know if the call was that he might have rotated over towards CCTV, but Not entirely sure exactly. Just looked like a lot of communication issues there on G2 side of things. And Penta
Attackers need to
now hold a
locate
lead
and
in this
defuse
series.
as many bombs as they can.
Bottom floor, the next bomb site for Penta, and this is the first one that they defended, also their first success. So they are going to be extremely comfortable going back down here. Last time G2 went onto the attack for this site, they were able to get an early kill onto enemy who is roaming pretty deep in the middle floor. But after that, it really kind of fell apart for G2. They weren't able to get I guess, any sort of concise push into the site. They didn't seem to know what they were trying to accomplish, and Penta just cleaned them up.
So we'll head back downstairs, which the very first time we saw it, it was a pretty easy round from Penta. Once again, G2 just did not look like they had the best coordination. Fabian looking the wrong way on the Jaeger of Serbas, who's playing down by the boxes. And then, of course, when the plant went down, Serbas was still there and was able to get Goga as the defuse was going down. Pengu missing the shots at the bottom of the main stairs. It was just Penta either getting really lucky or just having overall a better mix of coordination.
Was that a missed Excaros from Pengu? Unfortunate. And that's some wasted utility, some really important utility at that on this map. There's still a thermite in play, but that it definitely means that there's one less thing that G2 can open up moving forward.
That's... I mean, you gotta wonder here how much of this is a mental thing for G2. You know, if they were expecting probably a light, fun match, and the next thing you know, things change, and then they start to lose. There's a sense of anger that can go in there as well.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
That can knock you off, absolutely, and we've seen that. I mean, the first matchup, it might have been 2 7-1s, but the match that Penta won in their very first matchup, I think it went all the way. I think it was 8-7 or something like that. So.
I'm really surprised, honestly, right now that Fabian is trying to zap the Legion instead of going for the window. I mean, I'm guessing the reason he's doing that is because he doesn't... No, okay, why not just try going for the window?
There's got to be a reasoning for this, right?
I mean, yeah, no, he's doing a lot of damage to Ravon, counting down to about 50. The Cantor Kitty will also take out Serbas, and one more shot, and there you go. The Legion goes down, so I guess it all works out in the end. And there's nobody playing the mirror window, so doesn't really matter. G2 has full control over Arsenal, and it's just Hungry and Enemy. Although Enemy will get one frag for himself. Hungry working to get another as he pushes towards box from blue. And Enemy above doing some damage, but not enough to avoid the damage put onto him. G2 will take the round.
So allow Penta to go back down to church, too, since they just lost it. I wouldn't be too surprised to see them do that, though they do have Jim at their disposal, so it will unlock. So they go back up top. I'm also confused as to the to the Twitch draw.
Yeah, I mean, it worked, okay, and there was no one playing the mirror window, so all right.
What I was wondering very briefly was if you zap him low enough and Kanto is playing inside of Moto, if there's an opening there, Kanto, providing there's no ADSs in the way, can fire off one of those impacts, and it would do enough damage to down him.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I don't.
But I was trying
I wouldn't
to
rely on that, though.
No, absolutely not. You don't. I mean, it's not something that you want to try, but I mean, it's an option that's available. And I was thinking, depending on where Kanto was positioned, possibly could have been doable. But I didn't actually get a good sight on where Kanto was. So
yeah, Penta going to be going to the gym as their next bomb site. They can't go to cash, obviously, because that was the last one they were able to win, and that was just 2 rounds ago. So gym, a site that they've struggled with. Though, excuse me, in the previous attempt, they looked pretty strong and then somehow managed to lose it in the end.
10 seconds left. 5 seconds
A lot of
left.
it came down to Fabian clearing out the players inside of cash after he got that control established. It's a pretty easy push into the site. And definitely something that Penta's going to try and avoid this time around. They put the Bandit inside of Cash, maybe to try and Bandit trick the wall. Last time, Goga was able to thermite the wall at the top of Cash stairs and get a significant amount of control.
yeah. The other thing, too, with Serbas is that he can fall off and sit in construction as well, if need be, and Bandit trick that wall, too. Some teams will actively Bandit trick inside of office in that little red room that you see near the top of your screen. So But all the explosives of G2, they'll open the wall that leads into CCTV, they'll open the hatch over top of office, they'll open one of those castle barricades as well over on the gym master side of things. And just try to, or not rather the gym master, they've actually kept that closed. They got the jacuzzi wall. So last time around, the ex-Karos got tricked by the bandit on jacuzzi. They get the jacuzzi wall easily this time.
Having that wall open is going to allow you a lot of skill diversity and options when you choose to try and push into B. It's a pretty common strategy. Arcadi's going to start opening up those windows with the castle barricades. Nobody watching the flank from the server window, but there's nobody there right this minute, so you shouldn't need to worry about that. Enemy gets the first kill onto Giannis, really through the jacuzzi wall. It's a good initial kill for Penta.
Kanto at the window that he got killed from earlier on the exact same site. Oh, no. Hungry with his back to the window, not expecting Kanto to be there. Incredibly silent. That's the first kill for G2 as they lost Jonas earlier.
So really good fight back there for G2, and Fabian working his way up the main stairs. It actually doesn't look like there's anybody watching this right now. This could be an explosive play for Fabian if he positions himself properly. Working his way into bathroom. No, in fact, they go for the main hallway. This is a castle barricade, though. He's going to have to maneuver into bathroom using the rotation hole. Cantor Arcadi well in sight and has full control, and a couple kills for G2 is going to put them in a great position. Pengu's holding the flank, and it looks like the Valkyrie's going to walk right by him, allowing for an easy double kill for Pengu, and G2 take the round.
Pengu could have possibly been caught out by the Valkyrie there, who made the rotate happen without them knowing, but would not be the case. We're gonna have a technical timeout here for just a second. It's the final round of Penta's defense. Now, at best, Penta's gonna walk out of this split with 3 of the 6 defensive rounds. This is the first thing that I said when Clubhouse popped up.
You need to win those defenses. And not winning those defenses on Clubhouse are definitely going to hurt you in the long run. But what else have we been saying throughout all of Penta's matches at this tournament? They excel at attack. They really are a next level team when they're going for the assaults, and they're great at using their drones to coordinate those. So it's even worse that G2 are losing these attacking rounds.
Yeah.
They still could put it up 4-2 though. I mean, we're not that far away from a 4-2, and that's a really good advantage to have. Though, I don't know.
I mean, the defense on Clubhouse is such that you should win at least, at minimum, 2 rounds on defense, just because of the way that Clubhouse is played. Even bad teams who are bad at defense will usually win 1-2 rounds on defense on Clubhouse for the most part. I mean, some bad teams will get completely swept. It used to be like 6-0 on one side or 5-0 on one side rather. It ends up becoming a 6-0, but I would imagine that G2 on attack will be able to easily win probably 2 rounds out of the 6. Now that'll put them on match point if they do end up winning this, because it takes 7 rounds to win instead of 6. You call this round a must-win for G2 in that case?
I would say, it's a little bit, it's all over the place, all right? So your defenses are going to be favored on this map. Penta, though, however, are very comfortable on attack. I'd say if G2 really wants to keep themselves nice and comfortable going into the second half, yes, this is something that they want to win, because Penta are just that much better on attack than they are on defense. So if Penta's able to manage 3 out of the 6 possible rounds on their defensive half, they'll be feeling very comfortable, I think, going to the second.
G2 has 2 options here on their take. They can just simply pressure straight into CCTV, though they will encounter the active bandit of Sir Boss, or they can decide to go over through construction and possibly push in through garage. They don't have a Maverick, which was a big part of why they were able to shut down the bandit tricking last time, as Pengu dies first, and that will be the blowtorch gone from this round. That's a very early death as well for the Maverick of Pengu, possibly killed from a hole that he himself had opened up.
Not having the Maverick is going to hurt their chances at getting in through that server wall. They still have the Thatcher, who will be of assistance. Fabian doing this again. He'll get 2 zaps into Hungry. I don't know. I don't know what the thought process is there. Enemy delayed reactions there. Opportunity to do some damage, but it is missed. Slow going here for G2. Not having the Maverick again, going to make pushing in that server wall very difficult. I don't think they've been able to get it open yet. But Kanto Raketti will eliminate enemy. And a second one for Kanto, who is known to show up when he's most needed and is doing just that in this match so far. Ravon will take down Jonas though from below. So nice and even at the 3-3. Kanto's still in play though, so I guess anything is possible.
You still got Ravon lurking down below. If there's no committed flank watch or drone there, that could be a major headache. Some patience here from Fabian, waiting for Sir Boss to wiggle. Not enough junk in the trunk there for the Bandit to be able to stop that taser, eh?
No, apparently not. And the drone will actually even get away and continue to sap Sir Boss. I can't believe he's getting away with this.
As Fabian now on 2 rounds in particular, where he has just used that drone as such a complete and utter nuisance, to be able to take tiny bits of damage off. You see Sir Boss has lost 20, so just those 2 zaps. But that could mean the difference between a bullet, depending on the range of these guns. And speaking of, they're gonna have to come at least sometime soon. An active Bandit trick as Sir Boss gets it at the last second inside of construction, and Ravon has the twitch from below.
Beautiful play there from the Bandit of Sir Boss, but Ravon not so beautiful. Sir Boss will get the refrag, and Kanto Raketti doubles up onto Sir Boss. So it's just down to the Hungary, but he's gonna die to Kanto Raketti. I honestly thought Fabian was about to bite the dust, but not the case. D2 take the round, and in the half, 4-2. That's definitely where they want to be. Well, this is better than 3-3. Going on to the second half, though, of course, Penta now on attack. This is a defense-sided map, but Penta are certainly a better team on the attacking side.
Bring it out right away, a Montaigne from Hungary there. Now, it's been said that Penta can use Montaigne quite a bit. The Dokkaebi is going to be picked off. Dokkaebi has been used, just as a side note, as 6th pick bait quite a lot so far on Clubhouse. Fabian did it, I think, a couple times as well, and now Ravon will do it, locking in the Maverick.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
D2 in a good spot right now. We're going to the basement for the first defense. Not a huge surprise there.
I mean, not a surprise over the last little while. I am interested in knowing why these teams decide to
Go to the basement?
To go to the basement instead of going to CCTV cache where they used to go.
I mean, I think...
I have to dive into why maybe the site's defensive
No, I think when after
victory downstairs.
After the rework came out, people were really enthusiastic about the new sites. Just really wanted to push it, you know, force it out. You know, we've talked in the past about when the new operators come out. People play them in Pro League just because why? They're new. And they have a little bit of a shock factor. And I think in the long term, people determine that, yeah, okay, basement is still really good as a bomb site. We can just go back downstairs. It's nice and comfortable. It's as good as it was in the last build of Clubhouse, maybe a little bit worse considering there's an extra lane onto blue, but honestly, I don't see that really affecting it too much.
Yeah.
It's definitely an important lane, the blue stairs, but it's just not, it's not detrimental to the site or anything.
It just makes covering blue a lot harder, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, I think it also opens up for more flank potential in the basement. I mean, we've seen a lot of amazing flanks happen because of those stairs being available. It's a rare play, but it can be pulled off.
Now, with a shield on the board, you're going to see teams running Legion quite a lot. He's been a staple on G2. He's been a staple on Penta. Penta does have the gun skin for Legion as well to show off, which we saw from Revan when he was playing on the odd opportunity. And without a buck, it's going to make attacking basement very different. And that also could be a big reason as to why we don't see so much of the upstairs, because buck makes it extremely difficult to hold the B side of the site, as long as he can exist inside a kitchen to tear up that entire floor.
Looks like a late bandit trick from Fabian, but he will catch it just barely. The end of that Excaros detonation sequence.
It's a bit of a misplay from Penta there not to expect somebody on the other side of that, especially with the fact that Hungry keeps pinging the wall, so you gotta expect there's somebody there.
Yeah. And the bandit, perfect operator to delay this. You see Pulse right next to him calling out positions of Montaigne and many others. Impact tricking will miss from G2. 2 impacts. What a waste. And that's definitely a big whoops there from Cancer Raketti. Or Pengu, whoever it may have been.
Kind of strange though, because Enemy didn't look like he had his Excaros in any place where those impacts couldn't have possibly done good work. After he gets that hatch open though, Goga will eat a tiny bit of damage as the exterior end of Mira gets spotted through the wall, down the hatch. And 30 seconds to go, just trying to clear out any stray goo mines that may lay in front of him. There's no IQ that can possibly spot them out, so they'll rely on either just seeing them with drones and shooting them, or having Thatcher blow them open with his EMP. And Penta looks like they're gonna go for a hatch drop. This is an old strat, as old as it comes. Hungry drops down a smoke, Castle there as well, but there's a toxic canister and a C4. Oh no, Jonas hits Kanto and Fabian, takes out Pengu. 2 of them. Jonas taking out Panics, and the Monty of Hungry absolutely slices Jonas. 2 team kills from G2. You gotta win your defenses. You're not gonna do it when you put yourself into a 3v5, and Penta gifted around as they try to close this gap, now trailing only by 1.
G2 is their own worst enemy in this match, it seems, and honestly, yeah, that round was all but over, and then G2 threw it away. I am flabbergasted that they decided to play it as poorly as they did. I mean, obviously they didn't decide to. That was a lot of mistakes back to back to back, but seriously, I cannot I cannot explain how bad G2 is playing right now.
That was not and I mean that was not a great ending to a round, but there was a lot of promise in there. After Fabian was able to take out the Excaros, things went from good to pretty neutral, and then they didn't get the Excaros on the kitchen hatch, and that kitchen hatch ended up becoming their downfall, and it just was sloppiness after sloppiness here. And I think it's very valid to be this critical of a team that is as good as G2, because these are mistakes that a lot of pro teams shouldn't be making, but especially not your defending world champions.
Yep, supposed to be the best in the world. Got to prove it here. Penta giving them a run for their money. We're very close to evening things out. 4-on-4.
10 seconds.
But again, I got to say, G2 threw that last round away.
I'm a little interested to hear, or rather a little amused here. Teams keep bringing Zofia instead of Sledge in lieu of Buck.
I mean, it's Clubhouse. There's soft destruction, that's for sure, but I mean, there's hyper-specific soft destruction, right? So like, if you want to attack into B, you're going to open up the kitchen floor. But if you're not attacking into B, you don't necessarily need to do that. Also, you can bring breaching charges on the Zofia, and the breaching charges often are plenty. And we see them being brought right now from Panics.
Here's one of the things that I think a Zofia does well that a Sledge obviously can't do unless you cook your grenade correctly, as Panics is actually just going to miss a member of G2 rotating downstairs. I believe that was Kanto. But I'm not exactly certain as to who it was. Might not have been Kanto. Could have possibly been Kanto. I'm not sure. But the other thing that Zofia can do is that soft wall that leads into what is commonly referred to as pulse spot, that Buck can destroy from above. Sledge can't do that unless you have a frag grenade cooked perfectly to blow open the wall. That's something that Zofia can do because there's distance on her 2 grenades that she shoots out of her launcher. So that's a benefit that she has. And then, of course, the breaching charges. They're not going to open up all a kitchen the same way that a skeleton key would or the sledgehammer would. They'll open up quite a bit of it.
Thank you, waiting for his opportunity to pounce. He's got Jonas here as well, dual C4. And what a ballsy reinforcement from Jonas. He gets away with it too. Lots of damage done, but I mean, a little reinforcement gonna make Pengu's hold there a little bit easier.
In the middle of a push, you put up a reinforcement with somebody watching you. That is as brazen as it comes. Fabian upstairs, just outside of Cash. He's on a deep, deep roam. Jonas, perfect time to get reset, likely getting the C4 from Bandit thrown at him a number of times, and good timing, but he will actually miss those XKROS. Oh no, Pengu looks like he got the wrong wall, and that is going to concede the opening. We'll toss out a C4, but net absolutely nothing with it. This is now the third Bandit that we've seen played. Kanto, Jonas, and Pengu. It's going to allow Hungry to take up position inside of Moto here, Michael. Montaigne can just stand at the doorway. Fabian trying to get away, get confronted by enemy deep upstairs, and this is a problem for those on site.
Pengu still alive despite not being able to bandit trick that wall, and he's looking for a fight. It's very dangerous the way that he's playing right now. Pushing in the main hallway, he will be called out, rotating back, and he's got plenty of support from his teammates here. Zofia will disorient him, but Kanto Raketti lands a shot. Enemy as well. It's a constant back and forth here. Penta still, though, in the lead before G2 is able to bring it back thanks to Jonas, and a double for Jonas. The Finn really showing up, and it's all up to Revon with only just less than 25 HP. He gets Jonas from behind. He's got to find one more, and Goga will say no, sir. G2 take the round. 5-3 their favor.
I was setting up to go possibly catastrophically wrong on behalf of G2, but they recover gracefully, and especially that hold inside of Church, not just from Jonas alone, but not only he gets two important frags on great reflexes and great individual skill, but also on that sensor to relay to everybody else, and Kanto getting the call playing inside of Blue to get the player from Penta who dropped down through Moto hatch.
I gotta say, I'm really surprised that Pengu decided to bandit trick the wall without the mirror window instead of the one.
He might have just simply missed, and at that time he knew that he had to keep going with it because...
If he missed, then a very uncommon mistake from the likes of Pengu. You don't see that every day. If it was a miscalculation, definitely a mistake. You know, and if it was him missing, then equally so. So I'm, again, surprised.
Yeah.
Apart from that, though, G2 did manage to win the round. I think a big part of that, what you were talking about, Jonas doing a lot of work up against the wall and able to frag out when it looked very bleak.
So we have a tactical timeout here from Penta. See their coach conferring with Hungry and the rest of the team. Of course, each team gets one tactical timeout per map.
Yeah, and
a good time as any to possibly right this ship now is G2 on defense. You noted that Penta is usually so good on attack.
Yes.
They won the first round on attack, but I think a lot of that can also be accredited to the fact that there was two massive team kills from G2.
Yeah, that round honestly looked like G2 just throwing it away more than Penta being able to win it. We'll see if Penta can correct that, though. As he said, maybe right that ship thanks to the timeout that they have just called. I think that was a really good moment to do just that. Now, Jim, the next defense for G2. Now, this is curious. They've decided to go to Jim instead of Cash. We saw the same thing from Penta, and it did not work out. So we'll see if G2 are going to have better luck here. Overall, the lineup is kind of interesting from Penta. As you can see, they brought two sets of smokes and a glass. So they're going to have a lot of pushing power, as well as Montaigne, of course, who is going to assist in that endeavor. They have not brought a thermite, however, which means that wherever they decide to open up, whether it be the Jacuzzi wall or over by Cash, it will not be nearly as much control that they can establish with that hard construction. At the same time, though, they are going to be much better at dealing with the mirror windows that G2 have brought in Goga, facing towards Jacuzzi.
Did you mention that it's strange that there's no thermite amongst Penta's lineup by any chance?
Yeah, I brought that up. We mentioned how you had the Habana instead of the thermite, and how it'd be really nice to have a thermite.
It would be.
Yeah.
I'm imagining that the way Penta is going to do this is they're probably going to just simply try to take a small opening in through Jacuzzi, allow the Monty to get in there, probably plant inside a gym and cover from outside. That would be my guess with the Maverick as well as the Hibana. And I mean, if G2 had run a castle, keep in mind that Maverick is actually quite effective at opening castle barricades just a tiny bit and using them as protection. something that I think a lot of people tend to forget, actually, about Maverick, is that he can poke holes in those castle barricades. Because the defenders can't shoot through the actual barricade itself, it ended up being a big advantage for the attacker playing on the other side of it. But of course, G2, no castle on the board here on a site that does tend to see quite a bit of castle play.
Very powerful operator here on this site, but less self-destruction on Penta than usual. Of course, they don't have the Zofia. Might even been more useful.
Attackers drop the diffuser.
They are going to start opening up the jacuzzi wall, though, using those Excaros.
Attackers
I think they might have used all three. Look at this. A Valkyrie cam will actually be calling this out from G2. That's good use of that camera. Hungry actually not going to be able to go through with the deployed shield. This is not good. He could die as he attempts to vault this. That is a miscalculation, to be sure.
They'll have to reassess and bring Maverick over there to possibly get the very bottom part of that, but Revan will be exposed in doing so, and anybody possibly throwable from a nitro cell or anything along those lines from bathroom could possibly be the issue here. But that's actually a missed smoke from Hungry, and Fabian, where is he? A run out from Strip Club. Down Revan and a great C4 on the Panics. Give G2 a major advantage with just a tiny portion of this round left. It'll be now up to Hungry to try to get in, but as he drops his shield, Goga finishes him off, looking at a flawless round as Pengu adds a 4th kill for G2. An enemy will not get Kanto Raketti as he vaults out the window, and that's match point now for G2.
Excellent round there for G2. A lot of that came down to the jacuzzi wall juggle. Very small advantages that were stacked up there, partially all thanks to Penta, who failed to open the wall in its entirety, which slowed down the Montaigne push, which forced the Montaigne to smoke so that Ravon could come in and open the rest of the wall. But then in that process, he missed the smoke, and then Ravon also died to the run out from the Valkyrie. A lot of things going awry for Penta all at once, and G2 just closed it out after that.
In mind that DreamHack has eluded G2, who seems to have won almost everything else that has come their way. There isn't a tournament, apparently, that they can't win.
Attackers
But
need to locate
their
and
previous
defuse
crack at
bombs.
DreamHack came at DreamHack Valencia, and they got eliminated without even making it to the finals. I believe it was at the hands of Team Secret, if I recall. I could be wrong. Now, over to the cash and CCTV side of things, and 2 defensive rounds from G2 that have looked really rock solid, especially that last one. Every single member of Penta got cut down, and you've got to feel that the miscalculation with the XKROs onto that jacuzzi wall was a pretty big factor. And then Hungry missing the smoke too, right as the push went to happen towards the jacuzzi walls, and Fabian took full advantage of that Valkyrie camera positioned outside and got the lead-off kill, which looked like it completely derailed Penta.
First time G2 will go to the cash defense. Tried basement twice, they won it and lost it. They tried gym once and they managed to win that. Quite decisively, I might add. Hungry on the Montaigne, gonna be making this push from the garage door, and he is the perfect operator to push up these stairs. He's got to deal with the Legion traps, of course, but he's not going to have to worry about getting shot, and that's the most important thing when you're pushing into garage. It's a very hard angle to challenge as an attacker. You got to bring the right tool for the job. I like the shield at the top of the stairs on the catwalk inside of garage. That's going to force Montaigne to undeploy his shield and vault it.
So run out of Strip Club there from Fabian in the exact same position as before, and enemy very lucky that the damage from Valkyrie does so little damage, as not really much of a reset for enemy, as he's actually above half HP. So that is a pretty bad situation to be in. Hungry will be the focal point now for the Legion, who is going to get hit with an impact grenade, and Jonas not paying any attention, and that deployable shield there means that Jonas will be safe unless Monty drops the shield. Panics through the smoke, will get destroyed though by the Legion. One more body from Jonas as he gets hit twice from the Zofia impact, and this is a safe opportunity here. Hungry using the deployable shield as his advantage to take out Jonas, and it will put us back at a 4v4.
Ron also going to be working away at the mirror window on the server wall, and there's nobody playing it right now. Hungry going to eat a Legion trap, and his teammate will be down right next to him. The C4, though, misses from below. That's an opportunity missed there from Pengu. At least 50 damage done to Sir Boss before he can be picked up again. Now, good job there, and we've got some very lit players on the Penta side of things. They are all inches away from death, but G2 also look like they are in a good position to end this. Fabian working his way back to the site. He has been detected. No, in fact, he hasn't. I thought the Maverick was looking, but he isn't. Ravon goes down quite easily and handily to Fabian.
Monty will push in to pressure Pengu, who'll get down from enemy, playing outside on that newly ejected Miro window, putting us back at a 3v3. Penta holding on for dear life as Sir Boss will give his team the advantage. Fabian detected outside for the rotate here as Kanto Raketti in sight, trying to shut something down. Good pre-fire, but doesn't hit anything. The Monty will block them out for the time being. User successfully goes down, but so will Hungry as Kanto gets the kill needed. Trying to work against the ticking time. G2 in dire straits. Sir Boss eliminates Fabian, but Kanto is here. He sees one more. He has been a star player, and he's looking for another on the clutch of Zofia. He knows there's a Claymore out there, and Sir Boss takes out Kanto Raketti, or at least he thinks there's one. Doesn't end up being it, but that's good hesitation, and Kanto knew he had to risk it. Gets shut down, and Penta and the Penta Alpaca, being good luck, it's going to keep Penta in this one.
If there's any one thing I can point a finger at to costing G2 that round, it's the reinforcements on the garage wall. Not only did it deny Kanto Raketti that final kill, which I honestly think he would have gotten if given the opportunity to just get into an engagement with the Zofia, but also it prevented Sir Boss from being finished off earlier in the round when he was down behind the shield by Pengu from below. That shield that was placed at atop of the catwalk was also useless in that it, yes, okay, forces the Montaigne to come off of his deployed shield, but also, I mean, nobody can shoot him because there's a reinforced wall. So, I would like to see G2 not reinforce the garage wall if they're going to be relying on strategies like that, but it seems like they're going to stick to it once more. Now, hopefully, Jonas will have better luck defending the actual garage this time around, and therefore it won't be a problem. Penta so close to bringing this back. They only need those 2 rounds to get that OT.
Amused, G2 could go back down to church if they really wanted to, but will opt to go to cash instead. So clearly, there's something about the site, unless my math is off here.
I mean, they defended it 2 rounds ago, and they were successful, so I think they need to go to cash.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
This or gym. No, actually, no, they won gyms, so they'd have, it's this or bar. Yeah, that's not.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, it has. These matches, honestly.
I'm sick. I've been drinking water like Marco Rubio, and there's a tiny number of people in Twitch chat who are going to get that, and they're going to enjoy that joke, hopefully.
Yeah, okay, so that went over my head. So
that's fine.
I don't
worry.
I'll
explain it later. But
all right, thank you.
Hopefully somebody gets it.
I'm sick too.
We're both sick.
Yeah.
It's the
wonderful day.
But no, I mean, I think you've been doing very well.
Well, thank you, Parker. You as well.
Thank you, Michael.
Can't see it, but we have our hands
We're
on
embracing.
Embracing.
We are embracing. So, not to water down the significance of what is a match point still for G2, and it looks like Penta's going to try the exact same push they did last time. Panix died really early to Jonas as Hungry pushed in. This time around, Panix is living. Jonas just needs to show a tiny portion of his body for Panix to pick away at it. But Jonas is going to wait out the smokes, actually. There goes another, and oh no, Jonas giving away his position, and it's a 2-shot from Panix to take out the Legion up top.
It's an excellent shot indeed, and made possible to the thanks to those smokes and a lack of a glass ban, which is something we've been seeing, actually seeing glass ban quite a lot throughout this tournament. So surprised that he wasn't here. Now, Fabian once again on the deep roam. He's been going for a lot of these lately. Big success. It's very likely he will be droned out in just a second here by Ravon. And yes, indeed, there it is. The call has been made, and now his position essentially useless. He will rotate in an attempt to make himself more of a presence in this round.
Doesn't look like they've gotten the CCTV wall yet, though.
No, it has. I don't believe they have, which is not good to say the least. There's also no thermite once more. They brought a Habana in lieu of the thermite, and I understand that she is more versatile, but also can be a huge risk. A push up the cache stairs could be a huge gap in G2's defense.
They're going to opt to go through construction instead, as both Ravon as well as Enemy are inside, and Panix will continue his reign of terror, taking out Goga for a second kill before getting swiftly punished by Kanto. Serbas also in the fray. He'll get his kill. Kanto just anchoring down cache as best as he can. Enemy taking out Fabian and Kanto in a 1v4, just absolute desperation. Gets one, but the pistol will not grab a second. Penta putting rounds together that they absolutely need. Still match point for G2. But that's 2 for Penta. And tactical timeout proving to be a pretty good asset here on Penta's side of things.
Certainly is. Kanto Raketti, oh man, 15 kills. He really wants this win. You can tell by the way he's been playing. He's been doing everything in his power to get a full ace, but just not happening as Penta are no slouches. They won't leave an opportunity like that available to the Finnish monster. Now, potentially the last round still, as these last 3 have been. Well, these last 2, including this one, or not including this one, have been, and also potentially a round where Penta could push us to overtime. And wouldn't that be fitting, as we are on the last map of this entire tournament.
I feel like overtime is needed at this point.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the match is certainly calling for overtime.
I will question, though, why which my notebook has actually been my undoing all day today.
Yeah, it seems that way.
I've been writing like everything down wrong.
Yeah, it's okay. It happens. I've done it.
But I don't think G2 has taken a tactical timeout yet, and this would be as good of an opportunity as ever to
5
do
seconds
it.
to go.
I don't know either.
Right. So if that's the case, because I believe all we had was the technical timeout, which was because of an issue outside of a team's control, and then we had the Penta timeout just a couple of rounds ago. So I don't believe G2 has taken a technical timeout yet, which they could do it now, but they might want to save it for overtime. But then again, I mean, it's so easy for us to look at things in hindsight and be like, that was a mistake. You know, like if G2 saves it possibly for overtime and they lose, we could be like, well, you should have taken it earlier. But then if they take it in overtime and it works, we'd be like, this was genius, saving it for when it was needed most. That's
usually how it works, yeah.
It's the best part of casting is we can look back on things that happened and be like, well, you see, this is what I thought.
Hindsight, is it?
2020.
It is indeed. So, G2, this is the big thing for them. They get to defend the basement. So that might mean no tactical timeout necessary. Penta did win the first time that G2 went to the basement, but we talked about that. It was, it was due to G2 kind of throwing the round away.
Yeah.
The second time G2 went to the basement, they were successful. So as long as G2 doesn't throw it away like they did the first attempt, I'm sure that they'll be able to lock this out, and we will see it go 7-5. But Penta, of course, going to do everything they can to avoid that. They have still brought the Montaigne and the Glass, 2 very formidable weapons on this and every map, for that matter.
I mean, Panix did die early a couple rounds back outside of the garage, but since then, I think the Glass has been the right play, and they've been using this smoke to just completely obfuscate their entire strategy behind it and let the Glass do his work. So who really knows? But after dumping down his candela, or dumping down his flashbangs, smaller candelas.
That's true.
That is technically true.
Candela babies.
Kids, baby, little childish, childish candelas.
Oh, that kind of works.
I know it does. We see enemy rotate, and now the enemy was holding onto the diffuser, but now it's Sir Boss. So there's been some juggling going on here. Pengu inside of this church wall with the open panel next to him as well, and he holds a nitro cell, so could possibly aim to get the nitro cell out there.
We saw him attempt to do that quite aggressively the last time he was playing on this wall, and unfortunately he wasn't able to make it happen. Here's one big difference though. Look at the clock. This has been a very, very fast round. And it feels like the time is just flying by as we come down to the last 35 seconds, and still, this is a 5 versus 5, but quickly that is corrected.
And you see a drop from the Valkyrie there as Kanto takes out Panix, and Everything on Penta falling down. There goes enemy. Jonas traded off from Hungry, but the Monty is going to continue to take damage. Pengu secures Revan, and it's all up to Hungry, who's going to get jumped on. And Fabian gets the final kill. Second time's a charm for G2, who will take DreamHack Winter. It took every single round in Map3. They're going to get it.
You could certainly say it's well-deserved for G2, but at the same time, Penta certainly gave them a run for their money, and they did get what they wanted out of these finals. They will be going to the Invitational and meeting possibly G2 there at that event.
What is showing from Penta? There have been so many teams at this event that have not just impressed us, but surely impressed other teams. Pact, Trust Gaming, the new Liquid roster, Space Station Gaming, and last but certainly not least, the newest addition to the Invitational, Penta Sports. So congratulations to all those teams, and then, of course, to our victors, who will win yet another trophy this year, G2.
We have to say, though, it was a lot harder than most people would have expected. A G2 Penta matchup, who would have thought Penta would bring it all the way to the final rounds of the final map? Very impressively done from them, and still, despite that, G2 reigns supreme as per usual.
Yep. A dominant performance from one of the most dominant teams this year, and the most dominant team likely in Rainbow6 history. They'll gather around the trophy, look to raise it. They raised one just a couple weeks ago in Rio de Janeiro as they took the season finals, and there you have it. That was us for just a second there. G2 Esports, they are DreamHack Winter champions. Fabian raising a trophy in his home country. Well, it's for the second time because he won DreamHack Nordic with them last year with some of the same roster. Not the same one. There's actually, you can't see it. There's actually confetti falling in front of us. So if it switched back to a camera of us, you'd see confetti here in our studio.
Excellent job from G2. And again, well-deserved. And I guess I'll take this home as a memento.
We have confetti now as well. That is adorning our stage.
I don't think Penta are going to be walking away from this an upset team, though. Again, we got to be honest. They definitely got out of this what they wanted. Not only the respect of many, I'm sure, given how much took away from G2, but also the... oh, hello.
Congratulations. You need the microphone, by the way.
You're going to want this, Fabian.
I want this?
Yes, I'm sure you do.
Yeah, I like this. I like winning. That's
people can hear you now.
I know. Believe it or not.
All the confetti, by the way, after came down here.
It actually came to you?
Yeah, it came down to us.
It didn't come on us at all.
Come on into the casters as well. Feel free to pass around the microphone here.
Well, no, they don't know how to speak English.
Yeah. What?
Your team communicates in English. Didn't look like it a couple rounds,
I'm not so sure about
though.
that sometimes. Yeah, a few rounds. I don't know if we even communicated at all.
First question. Your match against Penta yesterday, or the day before, yesterday because you had the day off, was a little bit easier. You won 2 of those games 7-1. You came into this matchup, and from the looks of things, Penta and you guys weren't going to take it all that seriously, but something changed throughout the course of that map, and it got a lot more serious a lot faster. What do you think was the turning point there, and how did you guys recover as they brought Tachanka in the first round, for crying out loud?
Well, I mean, they had already won their spot to Montreal. I think that's what they wanted to begin with. I mean, every team that came here wanted it except for us because we already had it. Then, I mean, well, Market had it as well, sure. But they didn't make it to the final. I felt like we wanted to win, of course. We always want to win, and I get so angry if we don't. At Border, we did so many basic mistakes. I got so pissed off. It's insane. But we managed to win in the end. They're a good team. We played different maps than we did yesterday, and the game was difficult.
Absolutely. Was it as hard as your match against Liquid by any chance? Feel free to give credit to your opponents here because that one seemed to be pretty tough and take you guys all the way.
Well, since I'm the one talking and nobody wants the microphone unless you get it.
The Liquid game was, in my opinion, harder for us. Not just because of the maps that we played that were slightly different, but the way they play pushed us as a team to new lengths that I don't think we've seen before. They beat us on Coastline, which is, that doesn't happen, right? We're undefeated on Coastline for a while. And for a new team, they actually did a lot of different stuff. Like, we didn't see 1 strat or 2 strats. The Clubhouse game you saw, we did the same thing twice, they did the same thing twice, yada yada. Liquid did new stuff every single round, so props to them. But for Penta, looking really strong. potential second best team in Europe right now, maybe. Unless there's two G2s, but there's only one right now. But despite one team actually losing tonight, I would say that we're both winners. They go to invitationals, we get to see each other, and we get the trophy and a little bit of pocket change.
Absolutely. We were remarking on the broadcast actually before the victory that there were a number of teams that showed up here. And I'd actually like to ask Tom this question if you're comfortable answering it.
Yeah.
You in particular, I think, watched almost every single matchup today, obviously studying the opponents of G2 well in advance. There's a lot of teams that came in here that have made changes. What team impressed you the most out of everything you saw this weekend?
It's got to be between Liquid and SSG. I mean, SSG is pretty much a brand new, well, it's got Bosco for about 15 days, and they've really proved themselves and their region, I would say. Liquid, like Penguin was saying, we saw new stuff every single round. We saw stuff that we hadn't even seen before. So high hopes to them as well.
Absolutely. Anything you want to say to your opponents, to the fans, etc.? Anything you'd like to add after this run here? Any of you before?
Can we say one thing each? One thing each? No, just give it to count.
Right. Nude. I need to pee. CCA plant. I want to sleep.
That was quite easy.
Okay. Thank you very much. Everybody, if you could give a warm round of applause to not just the team G2, but also to Blue, to Demo, to Zoronic, to everybody here at DreamHack, and of course to Kickstar, and all of you for tuning in. This concludes our broadcast for DreamHack Winter. We'll see you next time.